Here we have a clip from Jordan Peterson's Exodus series, talking about the Pharaoh, free will, and punishment. Let's see what he says.
And the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people. And Moses said,
So we have a Pharaoh who did not know Joseph, but loved Joseph. And now what do we have? Another Jew who the Egyptians adore.
Well, the Egyptians adored him when they knew him as an Egyptian, since he was raised in the Egyptian royalty. After being found as a baby, nobody knew he was a Jewish person until he decided to murder an Egyptian person because the person was oppressing a Jewish person.
What? It's just ironic.
right.
Joseph and now Moses.
That language is used of Joseph as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Let's see. With regard to the people, no, I don't think so. But they knew he saved their lives. So,
but in this case, I don't know if they adored him. At least it says that he was great.
You mean Joseph?
No, Moses. They say he was great in their sight.
Fine. Okay, that's fair enough.
Might have been scared of him more than anything else.
Both of them were great in their sight.
Yeah, they were great in their sight.
Whether they adored them or not. Yeah.
Question.
For sure, Joseph they loved. That's for sure.
Where are you emotionally? I'm just curious about this. When you're reading this, are you reading this in eager anticipation of the Pharaoh being punished? Are you reading this in trepidation? And because I remember when
Why would you be excited about the Pharaoh being punished? That's pretty weird.
More trepidation. It's like, I think because I probably identify with the Pharaoh.
You do?
Well, enough.
You mean about losing a child?
Yeah, about
just
what's
about
coming.
the consequences of your own stupidity. It's like
are you feeling
vindicated?
Like vengeful that you're hoping that the Pharaoh's going to get his? Are you feeling remorse and empathy for what's coming? What is your emotional? Because I remember I used to read in like high school history when you'd read like World War I and World War II. It's like you have that sense of being ensconced. Like I really hope that America wins, right? Like you have this emotional positioning in relation to reading history, even if you know the outcome. Yeah. And I'm just.
Wait, you're reading about World War II and you're like, I hope America wins when you already know what's going to happen? It's like with the Pharaoh. God hardens the Pharaoh's heart, so it's not the Pharaoh's fault for saying no to releasing the Jews, because God made it so he would say no.
Curious.
But in this, like, there's this growing, looming threat. It's as if God is saying, "This is don't if you don't listen, this is where we're going." He's not telling you where we're going at. It's almost like it's like in a movie, right? You can feel the music like coming up, and you can feel the threat, and you know, like, please let it stop before it reaches that point. You don't even know where it's going, and then once it gets there, I don't think. Is it possible to not feel sad for the Egyptians and to not feel sympathy and to not wish that the Pharaoh had broken before? And it's like you get there and you're like, oh.
Dennis, how about you?
I hope Pharaoh gets his.
Yeah.
I admit.
I knew I could count on you.
What
in
about
that
the
regard.
Egyptians?
I was like, that's why I was just waiting. I was like,
Okay, so God makes it so the Pharaoh says no, and Dennis Prager is happy that God punished the Pharaoh by killing a bunch of innocent people. That's a pretty messed up belief.
Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
Well,
we
he's
know
clearly
Dennis
the
likes
villain.
revenge.
He's clearly the villain. And
Yes,
there is that
exactly. I
hope.
want villains to get punished. I don't know.
But do you want the villains to learn before they have to pay the ultimate price?
That's such a Christian question.
I know. That's why I wanted to get Prager's take on this.
I don't give a damn if they learn before they die. I want them to die.
Yeah. So he doesn't believe in some kind of punishment and reformation. Just, hey, God made it so this person did bad. Let's see them get burned alive or whatever.
Because I'm more concerned with good people. I don't want good people to suffer. So whether Pharaoh learns or not is between Pharaoh and Pharaoh. But between Pharaoh and me, he has to be punished. But
Okay, he only cares about good people, not suffering, yet he's totally okay with God making innocent people suffer to punish the Pharaoh. How is that just in any way?
But the great lesson, which is of course unlearned, like most great lessons, is people do really like tyrants. There's no way around it. One of you mentioned this, and I didn't bother commenting on it. But polls in Russia prior to Ukraine showed the increasing proportions of the Russian people adore Stalin.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing that happens to.
It's funny how he's talking about people liking tyrants when the Abrahamic God is nothing but a tyrant, and Dennis Prager and Jordan Peterson loves them.
To the Israelites, they complain to Moses about.
Because they want a monarch?
No, they want to go back to Egypt.
Oh, well, want to go back? Okay, there you go. That's right.
They adore Stalin, or they adored order and the.
Wait, the Russians like Stalin because they want to go back to Egypt? How does that make any sense?